2020 has been a year unlike any the city of Fremont has seen before, a year full of challenges that have compelled local governments, community members, and business owners alike to take action to promote restoration, reimagining, recovery, and most of all, resiliency. The obstacles we are facing require many different types of skill sets, policies, and approaches. A global pandemic, national civil unrest, wildfires that have engulfed the West Coast, and the economic effects of these events will continue to require new solutions. As I look back on all the actions the city of Fremont has already taken this year to address frontline issues, I am proud of the strong leadership I've seen displayed by city staff, Fremont police and fire departments, the community that calls Fremont home, and the city council. Today, I'd like to reflect and share some steps that the city has taken, as well as new services we've offered to address the COVID-19 global pandemic, Fremont's dialogue on policing and race, and this summer's wildfire that prompted an evacuation warning in Fremont. I'm genuinely hopeful for the city's future as we plan our next steps to stimulate recovery and growth. First, I'd like to recognize my fellow colleagues on the Fremont City Council. I've welcomed our council's collaborative efforts to serve our city. And this is in partnership with our city manager, Mark Dene, and our city staff. To get started, I'd like to first highlight the actions Fremont took to prevent the spread of COVID-19. On March 3rd, the city activated the Emergency Operations Center at an activation level 2 and brought together leadership from all city departments. This step was closely followed by a declaration of the local state of emergency on March 13th that closed all non-essential city facilities before the countywide shelter-in-place order took effect the following week. Our city demonstrated strong leadership by quickly opening up one of the Bay Area's first drive-through COVID-19 testing centers and issuing the first face covering executive order in the Bay Area. I am impressed by the amount of flexibility, innovation, and thoughtfulness that the Fremont staff has put into their work over the last 6 months to continue to provide safe, high-quality services to our community members and businesses through remote protocols, essential workers on the ground, to keep our city safe and operational, and the implementation of new programs to support the most vulnerable in our community. Let's get started with the aid we provided to our business community. We got to work quickly by waiving penalties and interest on late payments for business tax certificate renewals, staffing a business assistant hotline via our economic development staff, and creating a business COVID-19 resource page for vital information on financial assistance programs and safety protocols. Additionally, the city fast-tracked the zoning permit approval process for Fremont-based life science companies, transitioning operations to fight COVID-19 through the manufacturing of test kits, face masks, and ventilators. Companies included Evolve Manufacturing, Biolytics, Printerprez, Steritech, Thermo Fisher, and Biogenics. These working companies are making a difference. Like Evolve Manufacturing and Biogenics, a Fremont company that pivoted from making diabetes test kits to producing over 1.5 million COVID test kits to date. Not only is this work important to our national fight against COVID, but it also provides us jobs in an economic recession. Back in April, our economic development team and Ohlone College Career Center hosted a virtual career fair that featured more than 300 jobs at Advocacy and Evolve Manufacturing. And just last Friday, Fremont celebrated our 9th annual Manufacturing Day. Virtually, we thank our local employers and educators for their continued partnership to build the modern manufacturing workforce for tomorrow. We also continue to make it easier for residents to identify local businesses are open for takeout and delivery with the interactive online Fremont Open for Business map and storefront signage. Programs such as Fremont's Small Business Grants, where we dedicated specific community development block grants from the Federal CARES Act to bring much needed relief to our small businesses. And our pop-up patio program, which includes adapting our permitting services to facilitate outdoor spaces for restaurants and personal services. Just last month, we expanded the program by rolling out another business support initiative, allowing fitness classes in city parks. Another program is Gift Fremont, allowing businesses to conduct retail operations and dining in outdoor areas and providing an avenue for additional immediate revenue from customers with an online gift card incentive. We also reimagined delivering construction and development services, now supplementing services at our permit center to include online permitting and adding a video option for straightforward building inspections. During the pandemic, code enforcement staff has worked cooperatively with local businesses to allow their safe operation and ensure compliance with the county health orders. Graffiti and weed abatement efforts have continued along with securing neglected properties. I appreciate the hard work our inspectors have spent time with in resolving quality of life issues for our community. And I'm proud to report that several projects either were completed or are nearing completion in 2020, including new affordable housing units, Central Commons, Innovia, Geo Apartments, Riley Station at Metro Crossing, and Pauline Weaver Senior Apartments. Our new downtown event center, which will hopefully open in spring with new public programming designed for the post-COVID-19 era. And the BART Warm Springs West Access Bridge and Plaza, along with the opening of the 680 freeway widening project with the planned ribbon cutting later this month. Finally, our Age Well Center at South Fremont will be completed by December, which our Human Services Department will operate. We'll postpone opening it until next year when it's safe due to the pandemic precautions. We've also provided much needed assistance to our community through a temporary moratorium on residential and small business evictions that was approved by the council and is still in effect today. Also, free COVID-19 testing sites were made available in partnership with the Fremont Fire Department and Bay Area Community Health. Recently, we added Asian Health Services as a partner to ensure additional testing sites are available for our community. And initiatives such as our traffic speed management program were put into place to protect the increased number of pedestrians and bicyclists during shelter in place. To assist Fremont's vulnerable populations who have been affected particularly hard by the pandemic, we rolled out the Fremont Cares Rental Relief Program using CDBG funds for renters unable to pay their rent due to a COVID-19 related loss of income. Installed hygiene infrastructure throughout Fremont for our unhoused populations, and provided a number of meal services to help meet the needs of various groups. Last, but certainly not least, we celebrated the virtual grand opening of our new Housing Navigation Center on August 31st and began operations last month to house a reduced number of 25 participants to comply with COVID-19 safety measures. Fremont recognizes the growing need to help our unhoused residents find sustainable, permanent housing and jobs, which is exactly the aim of the HNC. As COVID-19 restrictions lift, the center will be able to accommodate 45 participants at a time. While there is still much work to be done, I am proud of this tangible step that was taken in opening the HNC, and am hopeful of additional programs to come in the future. Continuing on the theme of caring for our residents, I'd like to now move on and talk about public safety. We deeply value the sanctity of life and strive to earn the trust of our community. We share the grief and community's anger over the unjust killing of George Floyd in May and many others. This event had ripple effects all over the country, including peaceful protests in Fremont. Early on, we all witnessed looting and vandalism taking place across the nation and in some of our neighboring cities. Our police department and maintenance crews worked together to protect Fremont's retail centers, keeping both residents and businesses safe. The Fremont Police Department proactively addressed national events by releasing a letter from Chief Peterson denouncing the killing of George Floyd, participating in the 8 Can't Wait campaign that promotes more restrictive use of force policies, and initiating a town hall virtual discussion in June to open up community dialogue to discuss policing, race, and safety for all. This town hall paved the way for a larger Engage Fremont initiative, including a community survey, a new policing budget infographics, along with small dialogue groups for further conversations and exploration of potential solutions. To increase transparency and access, a transparency portal and new accountability webpage are available on the police department's website. This work doesn't stop here. We're advocating several legislative bills at the state and federal levels. Personally, I participated in the U.S. Conference of Mayors Working Group on Police Reform and Racial Justice. Additionally, the police department is working with the Alameda County on police policy adoption, and we're participating in their new Justice and Police Accountability Working Group. Training is also in place to eliminate bias. And we've implemented the Mobile Evaluation Team, commonly known as MET, a partnership between the Police Department, Fremont Human Services, and Washington Hospital Health Care System to provide mental health services to the community, including responding to the homeless calls and crisis intervention specialist that trains police officers. Our police department is working with Human Services to explore expansion of this program. And I'm proud to report we've transitioned 78 unhoused residents off the streets into hotels since the pandemic. Other programs that support the community's needs include a long-established community advisory group to the police chief, representing a diverse cross-section of community perspectives. Events such as Coffee with a Cop and National Night Out, as well as a variety of youth programs. We know that this reform effort is not a one and done kind of activity. We've heard from the community, understand its urgency, and are committed to continuing to evaluate and make changes to our policies to better serve the Fremont community. The results stemming from the Engage Fremont Policing and Race Dialogue and next steps we're taking will be presented at next week's City Council meeting. Next, I'd like to talk about wildfires. In August, Northern California was hit by a weather system that caused multiple dry lightning strikes, igniting fires throughout the Bay Area. Despite periods of extreme heat and erratic weather patterns, our fire department, city staff, and police department worked around the clock to ensure our residents and members of the public remained out of harm's way. During what is now being referred to as the third largest fire in California history, the SCU Lightning Complex, CAL FIRE issued an evacuation warning for the eastern foothills of South Fremont. I'd like to thank everyone who worked on the front lines and behind the scenes to prepare for these warnings, ensuring our community's safety. Fremont Fire and Police also deployed resources to fires throughout the Bay Area. We ask our community to remain ready for wildfires throughout the year, as there is no such thing as a fire season. Wildfires can happen anytime throughout the year. I'd like to honor these true heroes who have put their lives at risk for the public and thank their families for supporting their loved ones and allowing them to selflessly protect and serve. Moving now to our budget, Fremont has a long-standing recognition of being fiscally responsible, relying on various revenue streams to balance our annual operating budget. For the fiscal year that ended on June 30th, we estimate that COVID-19 cost the City General Fund $10 million in revenue, primarily in sales tax and hotel tax. Factoring in post-recovery economic slowdown, our general fund revenues for the current fiscal year are estimated to fall $12 million below the level projected prior to the pandemic. Thanks to the Council's decision to increase reserves last year, Fremont will be able to absorb the initial impact of the revenue loss without laying off staff or severely curtailing services as some other cities have been forced to do. We took actions to restrict overspending and our budget remained balanced. Some budgeted impacted examples are highlighted on this slide. Our largest revenue source, property taxes, constitutes about half of the general fund's revenue and is based on assessed values as of January 1st, 2020. So it's relatively unaffected this year by the pandemic. Sales tax, on the other hand, about a quarter of the general fund revenues, is highly sensitive to the economic activity and has been greatly impacted by shelter orders and subsequent health department restrictions on retail activities. Similarly, hotel tax revenues fell in March as travel essentially stopped and have only very slowly begun to recover. Because business tax is paid on prior year activity, we won't see the impact from the pandemic on those revenues until next fiscal year. To ensure the community's best interests are being heard, our council continues to take action at the local policy and financial level, yet advocacy at the broader level better enables state and federal priorities to occur. I continue actively championing the Supportive Housing Coalition, which ensures adequate funding for homeless services in the California state budget. Another example of making our voice heard at a regional level is the initiative I co-chaired for the Silicon Valley Leadership Group's Mayor Circle. Regional businesses and cities worked in partnership with the Silicon Valley Recovery Roundtable to develop better practices for economic recovery due to the coronavirus and business shutdowns. And I also spoke out in support of an extended 2020 census deadline. I am pleased the extension now goes through October 31st, and that our participation rate is 79.3% so far for people being counted. Something that is more important than ever for funding and elected representation at the federal level. Moving Fremont forward, we're investing in the quality of life for our community, whether it's focusing on green initiatives, implementing a new trail strategy, or updating our new Parks and Recreation Master Plan. We're including the feedback from our community members through virtual meetings, surveys, and our Happy Feet app to enhance these plans moving forward. I want to thank Fremont's participation as we work together to create the future for our parks and recreation programs for the next 15 to 20 years. For a brighter and greener future, the update to our Climate Action Plan is also underway to initiate a sustainable and thriving community that supports the environment. Last month, we held a community workshop with over 250 attendees. As part of community planning, the state is requiring the Bay region to plan for large amounts of new housing as a strategy for making housing more available and affordable. While this process, known as the Regional Housing Needs Assessment, is not yet complete, we already know that Fremont will be required to accommodate a sizable number of new housing units between 2023 and 2031. Fremont has also been planning for several infrastructure projects that are now funded and either under construction or in development. Speaking of building for your future, we want you to be prepared. How many of you have signed up to be notified in the event of an emergency in Fremont? Other ways to stay informed about city programs and projects and staying involved are now more convenient than ever. And also download our new Fremont app to report city infrastructure concerns. While this year we may not be in person together, we remain united in our hopes for a brighter future. We will continue working on more policing accountability and transparency and greater equality for all. Together, we are stronger. I want to thank the Fremont Chamber of Commerce and today's sponsors for hosting this event, and I'm appreciative of the warm welcome by presenting sponsor Facebook. Thank you. God bless.